Hey, I'm Suzanna Jelsema. I'm going into my junior year at DigiPen, and I'm in the Bachelor of Arts of Music and Sound Design program. I always knew I wanted to go into something in music, and I grew up playing video games, so when I found DigiPen, it was kind of like the perfect matching of the two, music and video games, music for video games. It seemed like the perfect place for me. My favorite genre of music to play has to be classical music. It's what I was raised on. I grew up as a classical violinist, but I also love going into the more modern realm, playing some John Williams, other video games music tracks. So going into some of the projects I've been working on, this year was a piece I wrote for my composition class. We go into it our sophomore year at DigiPen, we'd have our first composition class. So what you're seeing here is my piece in Logic Pro, which is a digital audio workstation, but originally it started off in MuseScore, which is a notation software. Essentially, so you know the music, the different music sheets that you see, we started out in there, we wrote what we wanted, and then it transitioned into putting it into Logic Pro with little MIDI tracks. And from there, we can actually make it sound like real instruments and make it sound a lot better than it would in just MuseScore. I personally really enjoyed this assignment, especially because as a violinist, I kind of had a little upper hand to my other fellow students because I was the only string player that came in with my cohort. So I definitely had the upper hand in knowing what to do with the strings because I've been playing with them for a very long time now. Now going on to some of the bigger projects that we have to take on at DigiPen, this was the game that my team and I worked on last semester called Archipelago. I played the role of the music and sound designer on the team. Now we decided to go with a more Japanese feel, so I had to do a lot of research into what Japanese music sounds like, the rhythms they use, the instrumentation that they use, to try to fit it to that style the best as I could. It's also great to work alongside your artist. They'll send you pieces of art, like the background of the game, and you can look at that while I'm composing and compose from that, so the game really feels cohesive in the end. This was probably my favorite part of the game to work on because it's the ending. You're pulling everything together, and in this game specifically, my goal was to make it seem as absolutely peaceful as possible. You won, you saved the lands. My goal was to just make the player feel relaxed and satisfied with what they had accomplished. I was also part of the same team my freshman semester, and our freshman game actually ended up going to PAX. And while we were there watching people play our game, it was just very satisfying to hear them give their opinions and listen to them talk about how fun it was to play the game, how everything felt super nice and cohesive together. It was a great experience. Music students will end up spending most of their time in this sound lab, which it works out pretty well because only we can get in there, so none of the other students, programmers or artists, none of them can get in there. So it's pretty special to be able to just have a place where we can work privately on our projects. Now, in there we have the recording studio, we have all the practice rooms, and quite a few different pianos that you can just jam on whenever you feel the need to. We go into a pretty wide range of different things in our classes here. On one hand, you could go into music engineering, which is recording everything. You sit in front of a giant mixing studio. On the other side, you can go into sound design, specifically Foley, or physically recording sounds, or composition. I'm hoping to specialize in composing once I get out of DigiPen. I've already had experience composing for various indie game teams, and I'd love to continue doing that once I graduate.